It's only recently that an infamous evil has plagued the world, hypnotizing and corrupting teens when they are at their most vulnerable. At first, we all marveled at this advancement in technology, but we had no idea just the power it really possesses. We refer to this seemingly innocent malevolence as texting, the number one cause of distracted driving. Only in the last couple of decades has it flexed its addictive properties, causing teens to have to text at even the worst occasions, including driving. I can relate to this epidemic, for even I have felt the excruciating pressure to check your phone when driving. When you receive a text you can't check, you feel this overwhelming sense of desire. You try to push it out of your mind, but it keeps floating around more and more prominent. It's like a bug in a swimming pool. When you try to pick it up, it always slips between your fingers beside the water. You start to give yourself reasons for checking, like, what if it's important? Or what if it's my parents and they get mad if I don't respond? But it's all an excuse to relieve your addiction, as if it were a drug. The state of Florida quickly pounced on this increasingly prominent issue with many campaigns to try and open people's minds to the undeniable problem, with some success. But in my opinion, they aren't doing it right. We live in a society that depends heavily on technology, especially cell phones. You can't go anywhere without seeing someone vigorously studying their phone for the latest tweet. It wasn't really until 2007 that texting started to dig its roots into the mainstream society, which shows how little time Florida had to react to this public enemy. As soon as texting and driving became an apparent problem, Florida quickly responded with foundations to showcase the danger of distracted driving. But it wasn't until October of 2013 that a law was passed against texting and driving. Now, with the help of government spending, anti-texting and driving advisories are everywhere. There are signs on the highway, stickers on students' laptops, advertisements on television, and even a collaboration with the phone provider AT&T to fight against what they inevitably provide. AT&T's role is to go to high schools across Florida to show kids how dangerous distracted driving really is, by allowing kids to drive a simulator in front of all of their peers. The students subjected to a hyper-realistic game where one can drive throughout an emulated street as a man sends you text to a fake phone provided to the driver. The driver must then respond to these texts as if a real-life conversation with their mother. Only 1 in 10 actually pass this cunning tactic, having an extremely effective and slightly humorous result when persuading the adolescent audience. This is a very strong and genius concept, not only because it proves the undeniable truth in front of an audience, but it's also extremely fun for the driver and even more comedic for the simple-minded audience, which is the perfect recipe for persuasive success. Other than the driving simulator, the government's efforts at winning the war against distracted driving were, and still are, futile. To start, Florida's taken a completely wrong approach to appealing to teens, who are the main victims of this corruption. Their main approach is to appeal to the emotional aspect of teens, to almost make them feel afraid of texting and driving by constantly bombarding our televisions with sad stories of lost victims, which is a system used by many other humane efforts such as anti-smoking, or the SPCA, who are trying to rescue abused animals. They all have the same premise of trying to make people feel sad and ashamed of themselves, when in reality, people are completely numb to it, especially teens. This idea of force skill is not only ineffective, but it's counterintuitive, because all it makes teens want to do is either change the channel or go on their phone some more to block it out. What they should really be doing is following the examples of the anti-smoking campaign, The Truth, using lots of flashy, catchy, humorous commercials starring recognizable people to make smoking look unhip, with an almost MTV-styled approach to conform to today's moronic ways. If more efforts for a safer world, such as the push to end distracted driving, were to follow the same idea, they too would have as good results as The Truth. Unfortunately, the real truth of the situation is, it is theoretically impossible to completely eliminate texting while driving. Kids will inevitably be doing it no matter how much money Florida spends on campaigns, for the only real solution we can ever hope for is that a much safer trend will replace it, which that too is inevitable, but the safety aspect of it is not. In conclusion, Florida is doing an outstanding job of engraving their ideas into the brains of teens that are texting and driving. They are doing everything in their power to really show the ripple effects caused by typing something as simple as LOL. How it not only scars your family for the rest of their empty lives, but how it leaves a hole in the hearts of everyone you know. Even though you may hate hearing all the cliche commercials that all say the same thing, there's a reason why they repeat it endlessly, because they are telling the truth. It may not be very effective in making teens realize that, but it's undoubtedly the sad truth behind our so-called advanced civilization. So just because Florida doesn't know precisely what to say, that doesn't mean you shouldn't listen. You should hear their plea for the sake of anyone who's ever cared for you. For why wouldn't you want to be alive? Think back at all those beautiful memories, your favorite memories, that you will cherish forever. Moments in your life that you strive to live again. Moments where there was no worry glooming over you as you had the time of your life, gliding through the night without a frown in sight. Now, think of all the memories that you are yet to make. For the times that are merely the beginning. Think of all those late summer nights you have yet to live, all the love you have yet to feel, all the amazing, life-changing moments that you would miss out on because you need to text your friend. If you aren't going to think about your friends and family as you reach for that phone, at least think of yourself.